that is so creative and nobody even thinks about it. One of the programs that you have as far as protecting your investments is a
Are you looking for a way to get rich using other people's money? Guess what?
Who isn't looking to get rich using other people's money?
Sounds like a good plan, right? Somebody else pays off my mortgage and I get to keep all the appreciation.
That's right.
That's a good deal. Well, we've got some information that might help you find a way to utilize somebody else's hard-earned money to make yourself actually wealthier. You can do it through real estate investing. I've got Eddie with Lone Star Mortgage here to talk about some of the investment loan opportunities that are out there.
There's a couple really good things that have came about over the last year or so. Investing in real estate and doing investment properties, it's always been a good thing to do. As what people say, they're not building any more land, right? So anytime that you can invest in real estate, chances are you're not going to lose money. Obviously, there's been times over the years where things have taken a dip or there's been a housing crash, but those crashes have always come back and they've always appreciated much better than where it was before. So when you're investing into real estate and you're doing an investment property, the standards, the down payments, all of that stuff, the requirements to get an investment property are always different than they are when you're buying a normal conventional Fannie Mae home, right? So Hannah, when you're doing that, there's a couple of different loans that go along with that. Number one is your traditional loan where you're going to supply your 2 years tax returns, your W-2s, you're going to show you your assets, you're going to need at least 25% down, you're going to have good credit. And those are your traditional way to buy a investment property. And you have to qualify for not only that home, but you're going to have to qualify for the other homes that you have as well, and all the other things that you have. Those tend to be a little bit more difficult in the world that we live in. It's very cumbersome. They have designed a new loan about a year and a half ago. They came out with this new loan called a DSCR loan. Now, that type of loan, it is for a debt service loan. The only thing that they're concerned about on this is whether or not that property can rent for as much or more than what your principal and interest, taxes, and insurance payments going to be. As long as it can meet that standard, then we're pretty much good to go. We're not concerned about your job. We're not concerned about your income. All we're concerned about is whether or not that rent covers your debt service. Along with that, we obviously need to show your assets. We need to know where the down payment's coming from. Your credit scores have to be good, but it's pretty easy. I mean, can you imagine that they don't even care about your job? They don't care about your income. All they care about is whether or not you're going to, at least cover the payment on your home. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to invest in real estate if that's all you have to worry about? The interest rates are a little bit higher on there, but again, it's irrelevant when you have the options to do what you're doing. There's one other way to do investment properties that is so creative and nobody even thinks about it. One of the rule or programs that you have as far as protecting your investments is a 1031 exchange. Now, I know that you've had several clients, even yourself, I believe, have probably done a 1031 exchange, but I know that you've had several clients to do that. Well, 1031 exchange allows you to avoid a lot of the capital gains tax when you sell a property, but that money then has to be invested inside another investment property in full, in whole, in order to avoid that. Now, there's a lot of very strict stipulations that go along with the 1031 exchange that you have to follow. But here's one of the things that me and my company, we've learned a little kind of niche that is pretty creative. Once you close on that property, on that 1031 exchange, you have met all of the criteria to satisfy to avoid paying the taxes that you would on the capital gains. Day number one, as long as you've paid cash for that property, we can do a cash out, take up to 75%, use that money, and go buy 2 or 3 other properties. It's called a reverse financing. And in Texas, once you buy a home, the seasoning to be able to pull cash out of your home is typically about a year, unless you pay cash on something like this. And then we can immediately do a reverse financing, get you that cash back that you just laid out into that investment property, and go buy a couple other properties. And now you're really maximizing your investment. You're really maximizing your future wealth. So I don't know, but I think there's probably a lot of people that are going to watch this that have never even thought about doing something like that.
Well, it would make sense if I had a property that is a rental property right now that's already paid off. to go ahead and take that cash out, do the same thing you're
Absolutely.
talking about. And then it gives me a down payment for another 2 to 3 homes.
That's right.
And that's a good opportunity as well, because there's so many tax advantages to being able to own rental property.
That's right.
Number one, you've got your operating expense. Like if you have a management company like Grapevine Realty,
That's right.
who can manage your rental properties for you, your mortgage interest is also a tax write-off. Depreciation. Now they've got some options for even accelerating your depreciation and not having to wait the 27.5 years. Plus, you've got capital gains that use different ways to protect that, like exchanging, or you can also buy the properties inside different types of tax shelters.
That's
There's
right.
different layers that you can create. Your travel expenses on rental properties are tax deductible too. That's a big tax advantage. Like I've got some friends and they bought houses down at the coast, and those produce income for them.
Short-term
well.
rentals. Yeah.
Short-term rentals. It's a good business to be in. There's also passive appreciation. And of course, you're building equity. And by owning a rental property, somebody else's hard-earned money is putting that equity into your pocket. The appreciation in North Texas has skyrocketed. It is incredible how expensive real estate is now compared to what it was even just a few years ago. We actually have quite a few off-market properties as well. So if you are looking to expand and become a real estate tycoon, we've got great resources for you to be able to advance and widen the stakes in your tent and be able to build some cash flow for retirement. A lot of people don't realize that cash flow is the key to retiring. And if I ask you this question, you're financially planning for your future based on something that is erratic, sometimes irrational, and unpredictable. I think real estate offers a much better opportunity than a lot of the stock market options, mutual funds, things like that,
Right.
to be able to plan with. And so that's something that we want to be a resource for you too, is looking at what are your long-term goals? And then backing out, how do we get you to those goals utilizing real estate as the vehicle?
There's so many options that we have that are available to us, but not only that, the resources for any of these types of programs or any of these deductions, whether it's talking to a CPA, whether it's talking to an advisor in one way or another, getting a hold of us would be your first step. And from there, understanding what your goals are, what your plans for the future are, and then let us guide you from there and hold your hand. And guys, we have it all. So, make sure you reach out to us.
This beautiful house we're standing in, Eddie closed for us.
That's right.
And now it's a short-term rental. And it's part of our retirement plan so that we can have cash flow for later in life and give legacy to our kids.
That's right. Thank you, guys.
Like us, share us, thumbs up, all the good things.